Listen, let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat completely still? No phone, no television, no noise of any kind, just you and your own thoughts. I do that every morning now, not because I am particularly wise or particularly disciplined, but because at 97 years old, the quiet finds you whether you invite it or not. And in that quiet, things become very clear. Things you spent decades successfully avoiding become impossible to look away from. I'm going to tell you what I see in that quiet. I'm going to tell you what 97 years of living looks like when you finally stop moving long enough to look at it honestly. And I need you to hear me. Not the polite way people half listen when an old man starts talking. Actually, hear me. Because what I'm about to say took me the better part of 70 years to understand. And you do not have 70 years to waste the way I did. Nobody does. You're walking around with a delusion, a comfortable, invisible, completely believable delusion. And the delusion is this: you have time. I know, you know you're going to die someday. Everybody knows that. It's not a secret, but knowing it in your head and feeling it in your chest are two entirely different things. You know it the way you know that someday your car will stop running. Theoretically, eventually, not today, not something to think about right now. And so, you treat your days the way people treat a car they assume still has plenty of miles left. You run it hard. You skip the maintenance. You tell yourself you'll take care of it later. I am here to tell you from the other end of the road. The miles run out faster than you think. And later is the most expensive word in the English language. I paid for later with my marriage, with my children's childhoods, with my brother's last years on this earth. I paid for later with decades of being physically present in my own life while being mentally somewhere else entirely. And I am telling you right now, the bill comes due. Every single time. I want to tell you about my wife, Margaret. We were married for 53 years. 53 years in the same house, at the same kitchen table, sleeping on the same sides of the same bed. And I will tell you something I have never said out loud before. For at least 30 of those years, Margaret was lonely. Not because I was absent. I was there every evening. My shoes were at the door, my coat was on the hook. But there is a kind of loneliness that is worse than being alone. It is being in a room with someone who is not truly there, whose eyes are present but whose mind is somewhere else, whose body is seated at the dinner table but whose attention is already at tomorrow morning's meeting. That was me, night after night, year after year. Now, Margaret would tell me about her day, and I would nod in the right places without absorbing a single word. She would ask what I was thinking, and I would say nothing because I had learned that the Hendricks account was not the answer she was looking for. She stopped asking eventually, and I told myself that meant she was content. It didn't mean she was content. It meant she had accepted that I was not fully available to her. And she had quietly, graciously, heartbreakingly learned to need less from me than she deserved. I understood this too late to fix most of it, but I understood it. And if there is one thing I could reach through this screen and place directly into your hands today, it is this. The person who loves you is not asking for your money. They are not asking for your achievements or your status or your carefully constructed version of success. They are asking for your eyes, your full, undivided, phone face down, nowhere else to be attention. That is the only thing they actually need from you, and it is completely free. And most of us are too busy to give it. Stay right here, because the part about my son is coming, and that is the part that cost me the most. My son, Richard, is 69 years old now. He is a good man, steady, decent, quietly kind in the way some men are when they learned early to need very little from the world. He got that way on his own, not because of what I gave him, because of what I didn't. When Richard was about 9 years old, he came into my home office one Saturday afternoon. I was at my desk, papers everywhere, mine somewhere between a problem I hadn't solved and a call I needed to make Monday morning. Richard came in holding a drawing. He had drawn our house, our yard, our whole family standing together out front. Stick figures, blue sky, green grass, the dog we had at the time running across the bottom of the page. He held it up and said, "Dad." Look, I drew all of us. I said, without looking up from my papers, "That's wonderful, buddy. Put it on the refrigerator." And I went back to whatever I was doing. I never looked at that drawing, not once. Richard took it to the kitchen, put it on the fridge with the small magnet, and walked back to his room. And I stayed at my desk, being important. That drawing is gone now, thrown out in some move, some clean-out, some ordinary afternoon of clearing things nobody needed anymore. But Richard, standing in that doorway, 9 years old, arms going slowly down, the light shifting in his face, that is not gone. That lives in me, and it will leave this world the same moment I do. Your children are drawing pictures right now, not with crayons maybe. They grow up fast, but they are still holding things up, still standing in doorways, still waiting to see if you will look. Look, while you still can, while they still come to the doorway, because one day they stop coming. And the silence after that is a different kind of quiet entirely. I want to say something uncomfortable. Your job will not love you back. I spent 40 years building a business, 40 years of early mornings and late evenings and weekends that should have belonged to my family. When I sold that business and stepped away, it kept running without me, smoothly, without interruption, without a single person inside it stopping to acknowledge the 40 years I had poured into its walls. The machine does not love you. It uses you while you're useful, and it continues when you're not. If you walked out today and never returned, your position would be posted, filled, and functionally forgotten within a month. That is not cruelty. That is just how it works. But here is what is cruelty. Giving that machine the hours that belong to your daughter, giving it the attention that your son is quietly, patiently, hopelessly waiting for, trading the irreplaceable for the replaceable, yeah, every single day, and calling it sacrifice. Build your career, earn your living, take pride in your work, but do not worship it. Do not give it the seat at the table that belongs to the people who will actually grieve when you are gone, because your company will post your job before your family finishes crying, and the people crying will remember every time you chose the office over them, every time. I sit in my chair in the mornings and I think about what is left, not what I built, not what I earned, not what people said about me at dinners or wrote about me in business journals. I think about Margaret's laugh, the specific one, the one that surprised her, the one that came out bigger than she intended and made her cover her mouth with her hand. I think about the afternoon Richard fell asleep against my shoulder on a long drive and I did not move for 90 minutes because I did not want to wake him. Small things, ordinary things, things that cost nothing to have and everything to lose. Those are the only things I carry. Everything else has already dissolved. The trophies, the titles, the carefully assembled evidence of a successful life, gone or going. But those moments, permanent. The only things you get to keep are the things you gave away. The love you handed over without keeping score. The time you spent that had no productive outcome. The moments when you were simply, fully, completely present with another human being. That is the only wealth that survives you, and you're building it or spending it right now, today, in every choice between presence and distraction, between showing up and checking out, between looking at the drawing and going back to your papers. I am 97 years old, and I'm running out of time. But you are not. Not yet. You still have today. And today, used fully, is an enormous thing. So I'm asking you to do one thing. Why put this down when it's over? Think of one person who deserves more of you than you have been given. And today, not this weekend, not when things slow down. Today, give them something real. Your time, your eyes, your undivided presence. Just that. Because I promise you, from 97 years of evidence, when the quiet finally comes for you the way it has come for me, you will not wish you had worked more. You will wish you had shown up more, while you still had the chance. The clock is ticking. You can hear it if you stop long enough. Don't let it run out empty.